1 to 2 in every 1,000 children are born deaf.
Lois!
I see a swinging.
You're good at swinging yourself now.
It can affect every child's life differently.
You. Look at her wiggling, waggling her legs.
But this documentary is about Lois and how it has affected her.
I don't know what to say to give me away. The dream's the same. I'm alone on a moving train.
I'm 55% deaf in one ear and 70% in the other.
Hi, my name's Chris and this is my wife Michaela.
And we're the parents of 2 teenage daughters. The youngest is deaf.
When I was 3, my little sister was born. I was always aware that she was slightly different to me, but I wore glasses and she wore hearing aids. As I got older, I started to take more of an interest in audiology. I wanted to know what made my ears work and hers not. One of the first things I learnt was that hearing aids amplify all the noise around, making a sort of mechanical sound. They will never be able to restore normal hearing.
A lot of the time it's like, if I'm in a quiet room and with like other people, I can like hear different sounds that other people aren't really supposed to be hearing. Just small sounds, and when I'm outside, like with my hearing aids, most of the time all I can hear is the wind.
The school are also told to wear her radio aid around the neck and to know how it works.
A radio aid is like a little microphone that I would give to a teacher, and it like focuses on their voice. So if like the other students in the class are talking, I can still hear the teacher, and it just amplifies it.
Hearing aids are very good, obviously, but they only really work in a shorter distance. So that's why radio aid is really necessary in a school environment when you're further away from the teacher or whoever it is that's speaking. Yeah, so when the teacher is wearing
The radio aid while she's playing things like netball. Don't always get the signal, she can't hear sometimes.
Yeah, or the teacher's wearing the radio aid and they're whistling, that whistle is going straight through her. So yeah, there are definitely challenges. There's challenges with crossing roads. Yeah.
Her early diagnosis is obviously something that I don't remember since I was so young, but it's something that I wanted to learn more about.
And every child in the UK is offered a newborn hearing screening test. So they just come to the house, they do a series of clicks in the ear to see how the child responds, and literally days old, and Lois failed that. And I remember them saying, well, the equipment, it might be the equipment, the equipment's a bit old, maybe it's the equipment that's failed. So they came back the next week, repeated the test, she failed it again. After that, there was a series of tests where it's the
brain activity, what happens while she's supposed to be hearing, isn't it?
Yeah, so they put electrodes on her head, wire her up to the computer, and then they play some sounds and they see how her brain responds to those sounds. And after those tests, that's really what gave us the clear confirmed diagnosis that she was permanently deaf. Yeah, so here we've got an audiogram. So this is an example when she, more recently, the testing where they play a sound at a certain decibel, and then she has to press the button to say whether or not she's heard it, and then when she signifies by pressing the button that she's heard it, they plot it on this chart, and you can see here she's on a sloping scale from a mild loss down to anything above 70 is severe, so sort of bordering severe, but they class it as mild to moderate hearing loss. And this is your speech, this is called a speech banana, and this tells you with the decibels, so bearing in mind at the higher frequencies, which is here, Lois is more
round about here,
around 70 decibels, so these are the sounds that she struggles with.
Growing up, I was dragged along to lots of audiology appointments.
When I was younger, I would like go way more frequently, but now I only go like once, like every couple months. But you have to press a button, and when you hear the noise, and it will be different levels of frequencies, like low and high. And in school, not audiology, I would have like vocabulary tests, and there'd be like a speaker in front of me and a speaker behind me. One would have words and the other would have background noises, and I would just have to repeat the word with different levels of background noise.
Our secondary school had hearing loops that she was able to connect her hearing aids to. In theory, these should work to send the computer and TV sounds straight to her ears. However, they're not the most easily accessible.
School, to be honest, school doesn't do much. They don't really know much about it. If like the teachers don't, I'm normally the one having to tell them like, do this, do that.
I mean, I'd like to think that they would check if Lois has heard correctly and would double check with her to make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to think they do that.
Not so much in I don't know how much they do in secondary school, but certainly in primary school they would double check instructions, reinforce the fact that Lois had heard what her peers were saying, and what the instructions they were giving. So yeah, I think we've had no problems with school, to be honest.
Another thing I remember are all the day trips that we went on with the Deaf Children's Society. As a child who could hear but had a sibling who was deaf, I found it amazing to be able to talk to and befriend other people who are in the same situations as me.
Deaf Day Out. Well, we've even written it on there, look.
Oh, look at the little hearing aids.
The National Deaf Children's Society and the Berkshire Deaf Children's Society, so they would lay on events, all sorts of activities so that we can mix with other parents.
At a very young age, there was the Chatty Monkeys group, which was quite good. Babies, all the same age, right the way up to
going to school. So there was
school age.
Chatty Monkeys is the preschool group, so again mixing with parents that are new to this. The children were able to mix, so it was nice for Lois to be able to mix with children like her.
It was also good for us to see the different stages of children at different ages.
Yeah.
So you could get sort of an angle on what to expect.
Yeah, and it's sort of, so we started to go into the preschool group when Lois was literally sort of 6 or 7 weeks old, and it kind of put it all into perspective. It made, we'd gone from this horrible thought that, she's got a lifelong, she's going to be deaf for the rest of her life, to then really realising that actually it's not all doom and gloom, and actually she's just going to have a perfectly decent, fulfilled quality life. So that was really good. And then besides those, there is also the Sensory Consortium. So they offer the Teacher of the Deaf, who works with Lois in school, and they also give us all the equipment that we need.
Lois's hearing loss is called sensory neural hearing loss. This means that it's not medically or surgically treatable and will likely last forever. If you could wake up tomorrow with the ability to hear perfectly, not have to wear hearing aids or anything, would you?
Yes and no. Yes, because I want to see what it's like. I feel like it'd be cool just being able to hear normally. But no, because it comes with advantages, like ignoring people and like other stuff. So no, I wouldn't want to.
When I interviewed Lois, I asked her if she could wake up tomorrow and have perfect hearing and not need to wear hearing aids, would she want to? And she said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's because I think it has defined her character slightly, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's her, isn't it? It's something makes her a little bit more unique. And I'm not. I'm not sure I would change it, to be honest.
Yeah, perhaps it's a coping mechanism of her to say that.
Yeah, it's all she knows as well.
True.
I mean, she's been deaf since the day she was born. She knows no different. I know it's opened up doors for us that we wouldn't have experienced before.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have learned sign language. We wouldn't have some of the friends that we've got, lifelong friends. We wouldn't have experienced some of the days out that we've experienced necessarily.
Mm.
So yeah, definitely. It's come with its challenges, but overall it's been
Big
quite a nice
life,
experience,
really.
really, and it's part of our life, and it's made Lois who she is today.
Most of my friends don't know any sign language, so they're worried that they're going to have no form of communication with my sister, which isn't true, because not even me and her are fluent in BSL. In reality, 35 million deaf people still have some percentage of their hearing.
Well, it is a language at the end of the day, and it's a fantastic skill to have.
I think it'd be beneficial for children to learn sign language, definitely, at a young age. Just a basic sign language. It's fun. Fun, helps them appreciate the deafness side of it, I suppose, of other children, isn't it?
Yeah.
They should know, like, something in their training should be, they should have something to do with radio aids, because although not many deaf people have radio aids, I do, and like barely any of my teachers like know how to use it, and it can get quite annoying when it comes to situations, but yeah, they need to know about it more.
Well, what I would say is if you're looking to learn a new skill, then please consider BSL. There are plenty of courses out there. Some are free, others are very cheap to do. So yeah, why not learn a new skill and learn British Sign Language? You never know when you might need it. So yeah, I would say do that. And also there are some fabulous charities to support the deaf community. So if you have an opportunity to do a fundraising activity, if you're planning to do a skydive any day soon or run the marathon, then please consider doing it for the Deaf Children Society.
Here it comes. Guess for years I have tried to calm what's inside me, but something's wrong. I don't know what to say to give me away. The dream's the same. I'm alone on a moving train.